Okay, girl, so as we promised, we're going to dive right on in. Not going to have too much of an introduction here. I want to make sure that I set myself a little bit of a timer. So, we're going to set a timer here on this Apple Watch. If I can figure it out. Where's my timer at? I don't know where my app. Okay. I don't know where my timer's at. Oh. Well, hey, guess what? I don't have time for this. I guess I should have tried to figure this out a little bit earlier. But, do I have a clock? Let's look and see. I don't know. That's not working as planned. Okay, Dana. Well, that didn't work. So I guess I'm going to have to rely on my good old-fashioned time sense here. I don't want to go over my time. There is my clock. Well, let's add an alarm, shall we? I don't have an alarm, so we'll just add one. So it's 8:12. Let's just say we don't want to go over. Let's just say we don't want to go over maybe there. Okay. All right. We are set. So let's dive right in to this journal. Here's the page that I wanted to show you that I've been working on. And if you've watched, I know you have, Dana. I know you have watched all, including all of my slurp sessions. Here we go. I know you have looked at every one of my pages because I've shown them to you, but maybe not everybody has. We were talking about this page, and excuse my leg, I'm on the floor, and I'm using a very shaky tripod, but this page here, I hope you can see. Let's zoom in just a little bit, shall we? Ooh. Well, okay. We're not perfect, but that's all right. So let's talk about this page just a little bit. I said on my introduction that this page was kind of an accident. And I've explained it before, but if you've never seen one of my videos, I want to make sure that you understand what I'm talking about. When I started this journal, I started with nothing but plain paint. Just plain paint, or gesso would be another word to use. And a lot of the paint that I had literally has been upwards of 5 or 7 years old, so the paint is not very good quality. So here's the example that I wanted to show you. You can see the underlying portions of the page that are still peeking through. It was quite an ugly page, but you know what? Using words and phrases that I loved and nothing else but a nice little Sharpie, I was able to add details, sometimes dots, sometimes thin lines, sometimes thicker lines. And if I like this image here, I love this image with this phrase. They did not come at once. They came from different pages, but I liked them. But blocking them together kind of draws the eye to that image that I want to focus on this page. Likewise, this page here started out, poor Dana, she's heard this story so many times. Started out, like I said, the ugliest page ever until I added my beach. Because I love the sea, even though I've only been there. I dream. I'm there more in my dreams. But it was the border that I couldn't figure out. And if you look on the blank space here, you can see what it looked like underneath. It was the same level of ugly that was on this other page. So I decided that I was going to take some, it's almost like a crayon. It's a gelato. That's what it's called. These are old art supplies that I bought eons ago. Not even the same colors as they started out because they're so old. But if I take this, it's creamy, and I could take my finger and rub it. And I thought, well, I'll just add that beautiful turquoise, and that will just make it perfect. And it didn't. It actually made it worse. And I got to the point where I hated it. Hated it with a passion. It turned into a very happy accident because I also happened to have a block and stamps. I thought, okay, fine. I have stamps, and I don't even know where those stamps are. But I used my ink block, and I had this scroll pattern. And if I zoom in a little closer, you can see the scroll pattern. Well, when I did it, I obviously didn't get enough ink on the page because it just turned out horrible. And I thought, you know what? Scrap it, scrap it, scrap it. We're not going to do that to ourselves. We're doing this for joy, not to get frustrated. So I decided that this is now my Zendoodle page. So the story for this page now, basically, when I was sitting and had absolutely nothing to do, I took a ballpoint pen and I traced every single detail of scroll work. I even got to the point where I would do double lines or thicker lines where I thought they would go, thinner lines. And guess what? It turned into something that I absolutely loved. This is not what I wanted to work on today, though, Dana. No, today you and I are going to be working on this page right here. This is the page that I promised. Actually, earlier this morning, Dana was asking me about what do I do. I've got so many words, phrases, or items, images on a page. I don't necessarily like it. If you go back and you watch any of my videos of this journal, you will see the progression and the evolution of this journal page. This journal page started out as something that I absolutely did not like, but it told a story. And the story behind this page basically was through the evolution of my health journey through this process. I kept saying over and over and over, it's like, I don't even recognize who I am anymore. I don't even recognize myself because I'm doing things now for myself that I never would have done had I not had to stop and had my health not gotten me to a point of quitting almost life in general, where I had to stop and be quiet with myself and rethink habits that maybe were not the best for me. One of the habits that I had that was not the best for me, and Dana can attest to this, was drinking lots and lots of coffee. Yeah, I still have coffee. I don't drink it like I used to. But then also lots of Coca-Cola. Dana can remember those days where that's about all I did. Coca-Cola and coffee. Guess what? Not anymore. I'm a water girl. I gotta have my water. I don't know why, but I gotta have my water. Brain needs water. And we gotta stay hydrated. But So that's just one example. So what spurred this actual page was this image over here that you see. That may not look the best at the moment. And I'm going to show you how we're going to turn this into something that I'm going to like. This image, I was going to actually throw this away. I had it in a scrap box of just old papers, and I pulled it out and I'm like, oh my gosh, this was a Sephora ad. But I loved the girl and her face, and I used her somewhere. She's around here in my journals somewhere. I know she is. And I'm sure probably the background of this black and white, I probably used that somewhere that was within the ad here. But I had this image here, and I'm like, you know what? This totally represents the story that I want to say on this page. It's like I don't even recognize me, to the point that it's unreal. That made me laugh. But if you notice, can you see how I blocked it in? I had two separate images there. The unreal at the top, and then the definition at the bottom. It was completely separated. But just by taking that pen and putting a black line around it, draws that eye to make that look like one image rather than two. So it's the same thing that I'm going to do with this word, this recognize. It's just kind of funny. I loved the pose here. Kind of talking about my, it alludes to the feelings and the head problems that I was suffering. But then this little image that you see here, this was actually, Dana found it too in a magazine, is actually a light fixture. It is a light fixture. If you turn it upside down, it's a chandelier. But I turned it into my little idea bubbles. So I decided that I wanted to say, it's like I don't even recognize me anymore. But I didn't have all those words, and I couldn't find them in the magazine. So I decided to make my own by just cutting out the letters, just like on this recognize here. I just found the letters that I wanted, and I decided I'm going to make it my own. So with that all said, long story short, I have a lot of images here that I want to kind of tie into and make it a cohesive unit. I've already started on her crown. I love this crown. But I want to finish it up because it's starting to curl now that it's getting used a whole lot more. And so my idea is actually to use maybe some tape to firm it up, firm up the actual book, because it's almost like a bookmark now that I've got it there. First I didn't like it, now I really love it. So I got to figure out how to make that a little bit stronger and keep the integrity of it. So in order to do that though, I have to get it to a point where it's done. It's almost there. I'm getting close. Let's zoom in a little bit closer so you can see. You can see what I've done. And it's actually kind of simple. Nothing but taking black Sharpie and just outlining and tracing and adding little dots of white. Can you see those little dots of white? And it just kind of brightens up her crown. And I think I kind of like that. But it's not finished to me yet. I kind of feel like either she's going to have a headband, or I'm either going to have to get some color here and make her a headband, a headpiece, Or maybe even if I just add another line. I haven't decided. But I have decided that I want to do some detail work with the flowers themselves. So that's on the docket. Then the next thing on the docket is this word recognize, because you can obviously see that most of the letters do not match. So how am I going to make that into something that I really want to be cohesive? Simple. A black marker. I happen to have a black paint pen. If you have a black paint pen, sometimes that will make it go by. It'll make it go a little bit faster. I'm going to check and make sure that we're on screen so you can see what I'm going to do. But this is totally unscripted. So just bear with me here. Give me a little bit of grace, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take it and just outline the whole word and see how that speaks. Because as you work on a page, you do not always have to have the answer. Sometimes there will be things that will pop out at you that you didn't even think about until you actually start putting pen to paper. So for me, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, I may want to outline that Z a little more in black. I don't know that I like that white, so I'm going to go ahead and block that out. Let's just make that. And look, see, I messed that up already. You see, can you see it? I can't even see what you see. So let's look and see what you see. We'll go down here a little bit. Let's zoom in a little. There we go. Okay, but you can see where I've already made that mistake. That's okay. What happens when I make that mistake? I just make it a little thicker. And I'm just going to try to guide my hand steadily as I go. And like I said, this does not have to be a ballpoint pen. This could be, or a paint pen. This could be just a regular ballpoint pen to start with. And see, I went too far. That's okay. I can fix that. I'm going to do something. I already have an idea. Like I said, things will speak to you if you will just allow them space and time. Let's get you back there so you can see as we go along. So I'm just going to kind of connect the letters together. And you know what? If I don't like it, it's okay. That's why I call it a junk journal. Speaking of, Dana gave me an amazing idea. She told me, she said, you know what? Instead of calling it a junk journal, why don't you call it a life journal? Because it is. It's a journal of your life. And she is so... Girl, you're so good. Girl, you're good. I love it, Dana. I think that's what we're going to do. I think we're going to call it my life journal. Because this is a journey of my life in 2023. And I'm just going to let it be. And that's the way it's going to be. Okay. So I started with the basics. Not perfect. It's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. That's why this is so soothing to me. Because if it's not perfect, all I have to do is thicken the line. See there? thicken the line a little bit. It's a little shaky, like this one's a little shaky. I'm just going to thicken it up. It doesn't have to be perfect, and I have learned this from many, many wonderful YouTube ladies through the years. Everything that I am showing you right now is a product of somebody else's effort. So I hope that maybe this is a little pay it forward, and I can give you the confidence to do a project like this, maybe for yourself. You know, we all need time. We all need time for ourselves. We all need time for reflection. And like I said before, this journal started out for me at a point where I had to give myself grace because I just did not have the patience for journaling like I wanted. But I knew I needed to get something out. And for me, this was a way to get it out and to tell a story. It was not meant for anyone to see. It was actually just meant for me. But you know what? Everything that happens in our life, I believe, happens for a reason. And so hopefully this happens for you. I don't know what I did there. Looking to see if I have any ink on my hands. Nope. That was there already. Okay. Well, isn't that funny for me? That just showed another defect and a flaw. But I hope you see what I did there. When I messed up that E, all I did was just add a little extra swirl here and there. And I can even embellish that if I want and go off to the side of this R and maybe mirror the same thing. But just like all the good comedians say, that's my time, my alarm went off. Just in time. Just in time to say night-night. Muzzy, come here. Come here, stop. Stop. Where you at? Where you at? Stop. Look at me. Sit. Sit, please. Sit, please. Wave. Sit, please. Wave. Say bye-bye to all the audience. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching my video, and we'll continue. Oh, looks like Mozzie approves. Yep. All right. Bye-bye.